with me on this journey. Yes, hold me accountable, cause sometimes I need to know the truth. Sister, I love you.
All right. Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
evening. How are you ladies doing tonight?
Doing well. Grateful to be here.
Yes.
Yes. So, hello to all of you who are joining us tonight. This is the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network. We are delighted to be here with you once again, another Monday night. And tonight we are going to be continuing our conversation from last week, living holistically motivated. And so tonight we're hoping we have as rich of a conversation as we did last week. And before we get started, we are going to go around and do what we normally do, which is introduce ourselves and share something that we are grateful for.
My name is Manetta. I am the owner of Holistically Motivated, where we share tips, strategies, and solutions to help us live our best lives using natural solutions. I'm also a certified coach specializing in Gallup strengths. Again, that's a holistic approach to being well, because if you show up as you, then you are doing the right thing.
All right. Well, my name is Sheila Isom. I am an insurance claims professional, but I also am an independent stylist for Color Street. I sell nail strips as well as some other beauty products, and I am also a notary for the state of New Jersey.
Awesome.
And my name is Theodora Carter. I am a HR professional by trade, but I'm also the owner and founder of T. Carter Coaching and Consulting. I am a certified professional life coach as well as career coach, and I am also a HR consultant. And I am grateful to be here tonight. I'm grateful for traveling mercies because I was traveling this weekend, so I'm grateful for traveling mercies. Good evening, Trey.
Hello, Trey. So good to see you.
Trey, introduce yourself.
Oh, I am Trey Kearney, certified life coach, author, speaker, autism mommy, beauty fly with my ladies right here. And yes, the visionary of the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. Please join us there. And I am grateful to be here as a special guest.
Yes. We are so excited that you're here tonight. And
they don't get me tonight because I always get them. I don't know what they're talking about. So I
just look, and the last time you were here, didn't we tell you that there's no such thing as special guests when you are home?
Yes. But you know what? I'm just like, they gonna get me tonight because I don't know what they're talking about, but I'm here.
Well, before we get started, I'm just going to level set again. As Trey said, this is the Women to Women show on the New You Nation Network. And tonight we are continuing a conversation from last week. So last week we had a really lively discussion about living holistically motivated. And we talked about, the importance of self-care, taking care of ourselves and how we do that. And we had so much interest in it that we figured we would continue. And so tonight we're going to continue the conversation, but we're going to talk about how important it is not only what you put in your body, but what you put on your body.
Oh, yes.
Right. And so I'm going to start by just reading something that I found that says, a study published in the American Journal of Public Health looked into the skin's absorption rate of chemicals found in drinking water. It showed that the skin absorbed an average of 64% of total contaminant doses.
Wow.
Right. Other studies found the face to be several times more permeable than broad body surfaces and an absorption rate of 100% for underarms and genitalia.
Wow.
Okay? It says when it comes to living a healthy and natural lifestyle, what you put on your body is just as significant as what you put in your body.
Wow.
Right?
Absolutely. Those are all facts. And this is what I love to educate us on. So again, what you put on you goes in you. Your skin is your largest organ. Most people kind of think along the lines of beauty products, right? Got to keep the skin tight, got to keep it moisturized. That's very true. But what's in that moisturizer?
Yes.
Exactly. And so a question that I have for you guys is, we talked last week about looking at labels, right? And how we're so in tune to looking at labels of the foods that we buy. Do we look at the labels for the products that we use on our body?
I do now. I haven't always, but I do now because I've been using doTERRA, essential oils and things of that nature. So I started looking because I bought something. I told Netta about this. I bought this thing, the skin tightener for your neck. And when I read the ingredients, I didn't even want to put it on me. I was like, oh, what is that? Like, I was actually scared to put it on. I read it. And then when I smelled it, it was a whole nother. And I was just like, you know what? I never sent it back. But I never used it. I wanted to squeeze it out and use because the thing they had on it was like this metal ball that would roll. So I wanted to squeeze it out, but I don't even know what I did with it. But I did read the ingredients, and it totally, totally turned me off because they always say that if you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't be using it. So I was just like, okay. And I told Netta, she was like, if you don't throw that in the garbage.
I'm like, we want you here. We want you well. We want you healthy. Look, do not.
And one of the reasons why I was so concerned about it is because I have thyroid issues. And it was, your thyroid is here. So they were saying, roll it, and I was like, Netta. She's like, no. and go somewhere and sit down. So I was like, you know what? My thyroid is already tweaked. I just was like, nah, I'm good on that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's true. I mean, I the same thing with me. I ordered, how people are selling stuff, and I ordered like this mask, right, from somebody, and I got it, and I was like, oh, okay, looks great. It's supposed to have turmeric in it. But then I looked at the ingredients, and I was like, right, I don't even understand most of these words. But also, I have very sensitive skin as well. Right. Yes. So I have to be careful what I put on my skin because I will turn red very easily. I'll break out very easily as well. And so I have gotten into the habit of, looking at labels. And if it has like a bunch of, first of all, if it has like a ton of ingredients in it, I'm like, okay, I can't. Like, why do you have all of this stuff? And if water isn't the first thing in it, also, I'm a little leery. Sometime as well, right? But also if I can't pronounce it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to use this.
Let me say this. I saw this study, and I know y'all did last week, putting stuff inside as opposed to on outside too. And I've been using, like, I had bought Pam, right? And I was, I spray it on the foil so Jermaine's chicken tenders don't
see Netta's eyes.
No, really. So the chicken tenders don't stick. It's a little Pam here. And this guy posted a video about Pam, and I almost fell out and died because I was putting, I was just placing his nuggets on it.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my goodness, like Pam,
yes,
like plastic. And I went and bought some organic olive oil. I was so disturbed for my child. I felt I just threw the whole can in the garbage. I was like, just throw the whole plan. Just please.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like it's crazy what they don't tell us when something is FDA approved, that they can approve stuff that shouldn't be approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so disturbed.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things too that you tend to notice a lot is that you see a lot of people are posting, things that are allowed in the United States versus things that are not allowed. Those things that are not allowed over in other countries. And
Yes.
it's things that we have been consuming for years,
Yeah.
right? That we have been giving to our kids, that we have been filling our bodies with, mainly because that's a key word. They were filling, right?
Yes.
And it satiated that craving that or desire that we may have had. And that was what we were ingesting as well as what we are putting on our skin. But I would tell you, we talked, Theo had brought up about how, she was in Weight Watchers many, many, many moons ago. I was in Weight Watchers. So that kind of started me on paying attention to labels. But I really got into it when I was doing the Daniel fast. And
Wow.
for those of you that don't know, the Daniel fast is something that's done, in the vein of Daniel from the Bible, where for 40 days he just basically ate from the earth, and everything was pure. It was basically, you're looking at a plant-based diet, right? But you don't add anything to it that's not natural. And that included just water. So all you were drinking was water. So there was, so you had to be really selective. So you would go in and you had to read the ingredients. And it's surprising to see, even in like your frozen foods, like how many things contain sugar. Who knew that your frozen French fries were coated in sugar?
Yes.
You're looking at flour and things like that. And it's just like, okay, this is not it may say whole wheat on the label, but it's not. And you go to those select supermarkets that preach organic foods, and still when you read the labels, you are taken aback by the fact that I'm paying a lot of money to eat here, to grocery shop here, and what I think I'm getting is not what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Awareness is key.
Yep, that's
right?
it. Knowing.
And that's why this conversation is being had and why it's important. You were talking about other countries, right? And what they ban versus what the US does. And I have a statistic here. It says the disparity in standards between the European Union and the United States has grown to the extent it touches almost every element of most Americans' lives. In cosmetics alone, the EU has banned or restricted more than 1,300 chemicals, while the United States has outlawed or curbed 11.
Wow.
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 Well,
wow, that's
you
crazy.
know the United States, if it's gonna make them money,
yeah,
they're gonna put it on the shelf, right? Because think about it, right? When you look at, it's funny because one of my girlfriends, when like things started, like there was supposedly a shortage of food, right? She was like, "Oh, stock up on canned goods," right? And I am not one to buy canned goods because I'm like, if this canned good can last
that part.
right, for like 2 or 3 years,
what's in it?
Right. What's in it that's keeping it
preservative,
right? And so it's just like things to think about. But for those of you who are just joining us, this is the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network, and we're here talking about living holistically motivated. And today we're continuing our conversation from last week, where we were talking about what you put in your body, and now we're talking about what you put on your body. And so one of the things I want to share is when I switched to natural deodorant, right? And I work out a lot, so I was like very hesitant to do that, right? But I noticed when I switched to natural deodorant, like I started getting like really dark spots, right? Under my arms. And at first I was like, oh my God, what's happening? And then I realized our bodies talk to us.
Yes.
And that darkness was my body releasing
detox
toxins.
Wow.
Right? Like I was like, this doesn't seem right. But then I thought it like at first, because you know me, I got insurance. I feel like I go to the doctor to me, Like, listen, I need an appointment,
Yes.
right? So I was ready to go to the doctor, but then I thought about it and I said, okay, I'm gonna stop using the natural deodorant for a little bit and see what happens. And then I realized this isn't harmful. This is actually my body saying we're trying to get rid of that stuff that you have been putting in it under your arms all
The
the
build
time.
up. Yes. Yes.
Wow. And hard water. Let me tell y'all about, because our skin, right? The water in our houses, and I know Netta can attest to this. I had broke out. Me and Jermaine, we had like broke out, right? And I'm just like, wait a minute, what is going on? Like, we didn't change anything. We didn't change any products we use. We didn't. I was just like, so I went to the doctor again. Like Theo said, I got insurance. I went to the doctor. It had got on my face. That's I was like, wait a minute, it's crawled up on my face. Somebody need to tell me something. So my doctor was like, oh, find out if you have hard water in your house. So my landlord came and put a water softener in. And the doctor told me, he said, look around on your faucet to see if you see like buildup and stuff.
Yep.
And spots on the silver. So I was like, oh, okay. I said, oh, and it'll be spots on my silverware. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he was like, I think it's hard water. I tell you, when my landlord came and put the water softener in and I put a filter on my shower head, it totally changed my skin. So even though you got to even be aware of the water that's coming through the faucet. And I wasn't aware of that because you think water is water. But go ahead.
Let's think about the fact that the chemicals that are being used in absolutely, most everything, it's got to go somewhere.
Wow. Ouch.
And they can't filter all of it out because that's expensive. They're not going to do that. So some of this is
in the water. That's why they say filter your water. But I never thought of that. And I just want people who are listening to understand that sometimes we never think that water could harm us, right? Even Netta talks about the brand of water that we should drink and we shouldn't drink, right? Because all spring water ain't spring. It ain't come near spring from nowhere. So don't be fooled.
Right.
We ain't gonna get into that tonight unless the ladies want to about the water. Maybe y'all talked about that last week. But even the water coming out of your faucet can be harmful. Like water that's touching your dishes and you're putting the spoon in your mouth with the spots on the spoon, because the hard water leaves the water spots on your glasses and your dishwasher. Not that I think nobody should be using a dishwasher, but that's just my thing. And, in your shower, on your hair, my hair started falling out, everything from the hard water. So, like I said, our skin is our biggest organ. And we are going into chlorine. In the pool, we come home and we shower to get the chlorine off. Meanwhile, we got hard water that's doing just as much damage as the pool.
Yeah, the hard water is hard because of the chemicals.
Right.
The issue is what they're allowing to pass through in the water.
Right. What the acceptable levels are. And I tell you what's interesting is in the town that I live in, every year we would get the annual water report, right? It would talk about those levels that were acceptable. And you're reading all of the chemicals and that seem to counteract any kind of minerals that are actually in there, right? But at the end of the day, and of course you have no information to back up what those reports say, but they're telling you that they are within the acceptable limits, right? But how many towns have we seen in the news recently where they talked about lead in the water, that the water's not drinkable, right? But again, getting back to knowing what kind of bottled water to drink, they're giving them bottled water, but look at the kind of bottled water that they're actually getting.
Right. So if the water is not safe to drink, why would it be safe to put on our body?
Exactly.
Because our skin is drinking it.
It's going in you. What goes on you goes in you. I keep saying that. And so, I have a quote here from this Dr. Woodruff. He says, the water we run from our taps, the lotion we smear on our skin, the shampoo we rub in our hair, even the dust in our houses is full of synthetic chemicals. Some of the conditions connected to the use of toxin-packed products include cancer, asthma, eczema, endocrine disorders such as diabetes, and thyroid disorders.
They
Wow.
killing Netta.
I'm trying to tell you, you was
Netta's like, nope, don't you put that on your neck ever again.
and this conversation is important because, again, awareness. Once you know better, it's up to you to choose.
Yep.
Right? We do have choices. Some things we can't control, the things outside of our home, we cannot control. But I'm of the mindset inside of your home, you're in control of that.
Yes.
So the laundry detergent,
Oh,
the what you're washing your dishes in, Trey, you talked about that. So people like to use, we won't do brand names, but rinse aids and
right.
all of these brand name dishwasher detergents and so forth. That's chemically based. It's drying on your dishes with the heat, and then you putting it in your food. Or your plate, you're putting your food on top of the chemicals so it can be released in your food. So, it's just be mindful. There are natural options available that don't add to your illness, but help your body heal from the inside out. So again, not talking brand names, but if y'all want to know, reach out to me. I'll tell you what it is. The other thing is,
where can they reach out to you too? Where can they reach out?
Reach out to me at Manetta at manettafields.com. That easy. But I wanted to share some other statistics that I had here. And this one broke my heart because it has to do with babies. So there's an article that I pulled. It's pollution in minority newborns.
Wow.
So, certain products end up in certain neighborhoods predominantly, right? So in all tests, the tests found as many as 232 chemicals in 10 newborns, all of minority descent. 9 of the 10 randomly selected samples of cord blood tested positive for BPA, an industrial petrochemical produced by the millions of tons annually in plastics.
Wow.
My Lord.
These BPAs have been implicated in lengthening the list of serious chronic disorders, including cancer, cognitive and behavioral impairments, endocrine system disruption, reproductive and cardiovascular system abnormalities, diabetes, asthma, and obesity. Here's the follow-up to that. Skin allergies include skin inflammation, eczema, hives, chronic hives, and contact allergies. In 2018, 9.2 million children had skin allergies.
Yes.
Children from the age of 0 to 4 are most likely to have these allergies. In 2018, Black children in the United States were more likely to have skin allergies than white children.
Yep.
Now, let's go back to what's in the neighborhood.
Yes.
But let's talk about that, right? Because we talked last week, right, about what you put in your body, right, and how we'll do research. But how many of us pay attention to, we pay attention to if we don't get enough sleep, what that does to our body, right? If we eat a certain thing, what that may do to our stomach, right? But do we pay attention to what happens to our bodies, right? When something, and then let's just talk about the makeup, right? Like, listen, I get that, you want your face beat and all that, but all of the chemicals that are in the different products that you use, and then the makeup removers and all of that stuff, right? Like, how much damage is that doing to your inside? Because it's not even about how it impacts your skin.
Right.
It's being absorbed by your body.
Yes. Yes. Yep. That's scary. I mean, and we have to take responsibility, right? Let's just say, as Black people, and those numbers are really, really high, and that's for babies. But how many Black people who are actually listening right now? If it was 1 million Black people listening to this right now, 1 million pregnant Black women, or 1 million women who are pregnant who just had babies, how many of them actually would stop and say, I'm not going to do this anymore? Like me, with the PAM. Immediately I threw it in the garbage. But how many of us would say, oh, I'm going to finish this can before I throw it out? So how many people have products that they're actually going to throw away, or that they actually can take the time? And we as Black people, we have to do this. We have to value ourselves enough to take the time to switch over, right? We will go, like Netta said, with the detergent. We will make up every excuse not to buy a natural detergent when all you have to do is go online to buy it. But we're so habit forming. We have a habit of going to Walmart and walking down that aisle and getting those dryer sheets. That oh, I'm not trying that. I've been using. We ain't gonna say no names because the brand almost came out my mouth, and that is like, don't say no names. I've been using product G. My mother used that for 20 years. And we don't want to take the time to explore the holistic avenue when it's just as easy as going to the store.
Right. That just blows my mind.
We have to get out of our habits, because these habits are so hard to break, and we'll order one time and go right back to that old habit.
Yeah.
So this is us as Black people and all people, anybody who's watching, taking charge of our body, taking charge of our health, making sure that we're okay. And nobody should have to convince us to do that. But it's always convincing somebody, and especially in the Black community, because we Black women, it's always so hard to convince us to try something better. It's like, I'm only telling you to go online and order it and try it for a month. Like, is it really going to kill you to try it for a month? Or, but if somebody offered you apple martini at the bar, you're not even asking them what kind of vodka is it. What's
right.
You're just drinking that, but you'll question me to death on a natural product. Like, I'm telling you, like, look at the back of the bottle. The bottle says rosemary and turmeric. Plain old. But you question me 100 questions, but you'll go suck 5 apple martinis down in the weekend.
Yeah.
But it also speaks back, the thing that I always talk about, right, is the investment in yourself.
Yes.
Right? We'll go get Coach and Michael Kors and Nike, and we'll stand online for the Michael Jordan new edition sneakers, whatever, right, the new brand is. But somebody would say, oh, try this product, right? It costs $35. $35?
Exactly.
Right? And so when at what point do you think about investing in yourself?
$35, but you spent $100 on apple martinis.
Right.
No, seriously, and I'm not knocking you, but you just gotta see the difference here of $35, but you just went out over the weekend, Friday and Saturday, and party with your girls and bought dinner at a restaurant. You don't know what's in that food.
Right.
And you bought apple martinis and y'all went and shopped. But when Theo say try this product for $35, you like acting like $35 is an astronomical amount.
Right.
Something that's going to cost you 2 months.
That's what I was going to say. You had 2 nights versus 2 months. For a third of the price.
Right.
But who does that?
So how can we really encourage people, Netta, to take an alternative, holistic route to, and like I said, with the water in our houses, like what can we do? Like, I got to take a shower. I mean, I put on a filter on mine, but changing that filter, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I didn't change it in 6 months. Now we're all dying. Help. What can we do to better the situations in our home?
The first thing we have to do is be open to change.
Yes.
A closed mindset is the biggest issue. It's not even the finances.
Right.
Because I've worked with people who've lost their job, but they will not stop purchasing things for their family that are natural because they know today impacts tomorrow, next month, next year. So do you want to be held responsible and accountable for your child having asthma?
Right.
Developing from the products that you're choosing to use. I mean, there's always a pro and a con, right? You keep doing what you're doing, you know where you're headed. Why not try something different it's not gonna hurt you.
Right. That's
I mean, that's like with the deodorant, right? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this natural deodorant, right? And yeah, at first I was like, oh my God, what is this deodorant doing for me? But then I realized that the deodorant was actually helping me.
It was helping your body
Right.
heal from the inside out.
Right.
And just so you know, the skin is a reflection of what's going on in the gut.
yes.
So when you get your gut balanced, then your skin responds. But it's also the opposite. If your gut is imbalanced, your skin will respond. And I like to tell people when I'm talking about natural deodorant, you can't put non-toxic on top of toxic and expect it to work.
Right. Right.
You'll hear people say, that natural deodorant don't work for me. Well, you're kind of toxic. So it's not going to work on that.
Right.
Detox and it will work. Trust me, I know. I have an almost 21-year-old son who can use natural deodorant. And can we talk about natural real quick?
Yes, please.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Just touch on that for just a minute.
Yes.
Please stop with the natural. Everything you see labeled as natural is not
natural. That's right.
It is not. It's a marketing ploy. And as a matter of fact, I have a statement here that I found on a website. So, you know, a lot of people make their own products. I'm not knocking that. But the materials you're using to make your products is not pure. So your end product is probably not pure either. So a lot of people make candles, make their own candles and so forth. And so I went to a site of a company that provides fragrance for homemade candles. And we know fragrance is code word for synthetic and chemical, right? Okay. So it says here, it's telling people, giving people advice on how to use a fragrance for the candle, and they're, you know, soy wax and all of that stuff. You're starting off good, but check it out. It says using the natural compatible fragrance. Listen to natural compatible fragrance. All wrong. When you hear those together, just run. Okay. So, but it says natural compatible fragrance, and put a drop of essential oil along with your natural compatible fragrance so that you can harness the marketing power with your candles and say that they're natural.
And wait,
And
keyword
say.
and say that.
Because you
And
put
say.
a
A drop
of an essential oil. And we already know 96% of essential oils on the market are not pure. Let me just say that.
Right.
So it's not really pure anyway, but just put a drop with your candle and label it natural.
Wow, that's a shame. And then
that's the market, period.
And then when we get products too, Netta, from people who are not only mixing in their kitchen, but have gone on to partnership with people who can bottle their things, containers that they're putting it in, that our products are sitting in the plastic for years and for months. The product that the person is starting off with is natural. Even if they're in their kitchen and they only using honey and they only use this shea butter and they really using natural products, and they go online and they order plastic containers. They're not even looking at what the plastic containers are
made out of.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
Right. So am I right? Once they put that natural product in that plastic container that has
leach it in,
then it's taken on that plastic, right?
Yeah. So I have this document. I'm gonna read from it, but you can see those triangles with numbers inside of it? That tells you the quality of the plastic and whether or not it has phthalates in it. Okay. So it says all plastics are not the same. One easy way to recognize plastic toys, clothing, bottles, food and beverage storage containers, and or food wraps that may contain phthalates. That's a word. Everybody write it down so you can do your research on it. PHTHALATE, phthalates.
Put it in the group.
It says The compound is to look for the number 3 inside the triangle.
Okay.
3.
If the number 3 is inside the triangle, it has phthalates in it. Phthalates is one of those things that are hormone disruptors. So you think in diabetes and thyroid disease and those type. It's in phthalates. And phthalates also is the substance they put in our personal care product that make it foamy. Because people think if it's foamy and fizzy, then it's got to be cleaning, right? That's phthalates.
Wow.
And so, and then it says, but choose plastics with the numbers 1, 2, 4, or 5. 1, 2, 4, or 5. Those are phthalate free. Stay away from 3.
Yes.
Okay. Anything other than 3, you should be okay. But these are the things we just don't know about.
Yeah.
What about glass?
Glass is good. Go with glass over plastic, because if you put, your food in the microwave in plastic, that's an issue, because then eating up the plastic, the chemicals in your food now.
Yes.
Probably in there anyway because it was stored in there. But glass is the way to go for sure. Our storage containers in our home, glass.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started buying glass. I mean, I still have a few plastic, but I started buying glass containers as well.
We can't control, we should.
So when we put the food in the containers in the refrigerator in plastic and it's sitting, is it absorbing?
It can.
Oh,
it definitely can. So again, look at the number. If it's numbered on the bottom,
right.
If it's 3, you want to stay away from it. But for me, microwave in and of itself.
I'll be back. No, I'm just. Go check the refrigerator right now.
So, but you think of microwaves, it's the quick way to do things, and then you add the plastic in there with that quick way to do things with your food in it. There is a reaction. I'm sorry, there is a reaction happening.
And I did notice too, like that Dunkin' Donuts stopped using styrofoam, and I was sad because the paper cup is not as thick as styrofoam. And then I thought about it, I said, why did they stop using styrofoam? Because you put in that hot coffee in that styrofoam cup. Drinking styrofoam. You know how long I was drinking styrofoam? I'm so mad now.
Now that we're talking about drinking things, let's talk about tea bags for a second.
Oh, Lord, please.
Oh, yeah.
My word, my heart.
So check the companies that you purchase your teas from, because it's not uncommon for companies to bleach the tea bag before they put the leaf in it. So then you're putting bleached tea bag in hot water.
Oh, Lord. It's too much. I'm about to go clean out my closet, my refrigerator.
But your cells are going to be like, thank you so much for not killing me off.
I just know, because we don't really think about it. Because
no,
we move
don't.
100 miles an hour every day trying to be convenient. So convenience is really killing us, because they know the easier, the faster we're going to use it. The less expensive, because the glass costs a little bit more. But in the end, you're going to pay for it with your health, with doctor visits and all of that. So you only saved those few pennies only to pay for it in your later years.
And pay more for it.
Right. Way more.
You're going to pay one way or the other.
Right. So
why not pay to be a little healthier right now?
Right.
Versus maybe something happening that we don't want to happen later.
I'm so glad I'm here for this conversation, because let's give the people a little bit of homework. So let's go in our under our bathroom sinks. Let's go into our kitchen cabinets, and let's check the labels on everything. Let's check the labels on the bottom of the plastic to see if there are 3. Let's check the labels on the back of the skincare products and the soaps and things that we use to see what kind of plastic they're using, that we're using on our bodies. So our homework is to check all of the labels, all of the containers, and to come back next time and see what we learned. Because I'm going to go, as soon as I get off here, I'm going straight to the refrigerator.
I mean, And it's really important. And for those of you who are probably just joining us, this is the Women to Women show on the New You Nation Network. And we are talking about just living holistically motivated and what that means, right? Mind, body, and soul. And today we're talking about what we put on our bodies and the importance of paying attention to that, whether it's the water, the hard water that we use, the products that we use, the chemicals, what you sleep on.
Ooh,
Right?
That too.
hey.
Because some people will say silk, right? Silk pillowcases are better for you to sleep on, right? For your hair, for your face, as opposed to cotton, and then the thread and all of this. But I'm sure at some point we're going to find out that's silky.
And the threads that they're using, like the sheets are made in China. The thread that they're using, you know what I'm like, has dust on it and particles in it. And even if we're washing it, it's what the thread is made of, especially when we can't afford top of the line sheets.
Threads.
You know, we're just going wherever we going to, we ain't gonna name no stores, but this store, that store, to make sure that we can afford the sheets and the blankets. And we don't even know what the threading is made from, but it's going on our bodies still. We're laying on it every night. And then we're washing it with detergent that ain't no good for our body.
Can we speak on that for a second? So detergent, I wanted to throw a word out there. We're talking about homework. Estrogen dominance. Y'all can do your homework on estrogen dominance. So in personal care products, those chemicals, there are some in there that can act like estrogen. So your lotion, your body washes, your detergents, the things that you're using in your clothes that you're putting on yourself. Again, even your toothpaste, your mouthwash, all of those things, anything you're using on your body. Estrogen dominant. So it acts like a bully estrogen. It's a fake estrogen that goes into your body. And now your real estrogen gets pushed out of the way by the fake ones. So then you have us as women with all of these issues related to hormones.
Yes.
It's in your products. So those stores you can go to and get 5 for $15 and all of this stuff. Y'all, estrogen dominance is what is causing in your body. So then your estrogen levels are off the chart. Well, really, it's your real estrogen that has nowhere to go because the bully estrogen is taking up the spot where it would go from the products you're using. So say again?
That causing night sweats, and
it can cause anything related to hormone imbalance.
Oh, Lord.
So, we're spritzing and spraying and swiping, but we're causing problems with the products that we're choosing. And I was talking last week, you make suggestions, right? You give people suggestions. And the first thing you hear, oh, Lord, what am I supposed to do? Well, I'm telling you, we have options for you. Just ask.
Right.
There are options.
I'm going to ask you about one of those options because, and I know look, nothing is clean if you ain't using bleach. Let's talk about that, right?
I'm going to melt and fall on the floor.
That's a Black people thing, for real.
Exactly, right? If you step into somebody's house and you don't see any signs of bleach
ammonia.
Yes, the house is not clean and you got to use bleach for everything on earth, right? And I'm one of those subscribers, and I even had to be a specific brand name because not all bleachers are equal, right? But to find out that
all bleachers are toxic.
Right. But to find out that there are actual alternatives to bleach. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Please.
That is a big myth to dispel.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's one of the ones I bump up against in our community on a regular basis. And that's why I kind of alluded to it before, I was saying that if it doesn't fizz, if it doesn't foam, it's not clean. But the other thing about it, I would say, well, bleach don't fizz and foam, but we use that.
Right.
So
Right.
what is it that tells us that that's okay? And if you have to open a window to use something, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can't,
Say that again. Say that again.
if you have to throw a window up just to breathe, your body is kicking it out for a reason. I know people who have literally passed out because they mixed it with something they weren't supposed to. So how about this? If it's that toxic, it's in your environment, it's in you.
It's getting on your skin. If it's in the air, right.
Your poor little lungs are in there struggling.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
why you hacking, coughing, eyes running, and you still just a swiping. And that it is a cultural thing.
Yeah.
And think of it, it had to do a lot with cost effectiveness, right? But then for some reason, we got conditioned that this is the only thing that will clean. Listen, we have statistics, we have petri dishes to show us that's not true.
Right. Right. Because our parents put a little bleach in the water with the dishes. Like if you don't put a little
and then you eating over that.
Right. Put a little bleach in the water. Like I'm not even lying. Our whole family was, you ain't put no bleach in that water? Like, and I'm like, no.
I mean, and cleaning the tub with Clorox.
Yes.
You know that, what's that? That powdery. What? The Ajax.
I was saying.
The comment,
So, but please know that there was none of that in the Garden of Eden.
Right. Even back in the day with our ancestors.
So who do you think created that and what was the intent behind it?
Wow. But think about it out here, right? So I'm gonna just say, right, for me, for years, well, my mom started me with a relaxer young, right? Like I think that probably was like in fourth grade or something, right? And so I grew up right with the relaxer and whatever, and then next thing you know, I have these little I'm missing my edges. I got the little bald spots, right? And so I had beauticians that would tell me, oh, your hair's never going to grow back and whatever. And I went natural. It's probably been like 3 years now. I'm not even sure how long. Like I went first to crochet braids or whatever, but I stopped using the relaxer. And I can't tell you how now I have new growth around my edges. Right. And so also just thinking about the products that we also use on our hair. Now, I started my sister lock journey. I think it's been like 6 months now. And the last time I went to see my beautician, my loctician, I said to her, I said, something that I realized is I don't wash my hair in between going to her. I go every 6 weeks. I use a cotton ball with sea breeze and I clean my scalp, right?
Right.
But I said I noticed that because I don't put chemicals in my hair, right? Now that I have my sister locks, I don't put grease or lotion or any type of products in my hair. My hair does not get dirty.
Wow.
Like so even when I use the sea breeze with the cotton ball with the sea breeze, that cotton ball might have a
dropping again, Theo.
Oh Lord.
Well, I use the with a cotton ball to clean my scalp.
Right.
And I noticed that even with that, like the cotton ball is not really dirty because, and I said this to my beautician, I said, it's amazing how all of these years we felt like I got to put grease on it. I got to put conditioner and I got to put a sheen on it, right? I don't put any of that stuff on my hair now.
Because
my hair is not weighted down. Yep. It's not dirty. It's growing, like it's thick.
Yes.
Healthy.
Yes, because we've been conditioned that from our parents, they put grease in our hair and straightened it with the hot comb.
Oh yeah, that darn hot comb, which you gotta hold your ear.
Girl, and they put all that grease in it to make it straight, and they put grease every day. So we have to really unlearn some things because and for us, again, our Black people, we are so stuck on our habits. Like we are some habit forming people, and we are some trending folks. Whatever the trend is, whatever that thing we eat in, whatever they putting on their skin, everybody got a natural skincare product until you read the back of the bottle.
And it ain't
Everybody
natural.
Right,
got a
right.
product until you see the number 3 on their bottle, because we already know that most people are not going to go for the most expensive bottle because they're trying to be cost effective, and they think that as long as these people think that the natural product is inside, they're not concerned about the outer product, the packaging. So we need to be aware of the packaging that we're using, because that's doing more damage to us than anything.
Yeah. Charles is right. I'm not going to use the name.
Well, the other thing, especially, yeah,
Me either.
especially when we talk about, you know, the hair products.
I'm not reading them.
When we talk about the hair products, right? So when mainstream media, right, got involved with the natural hair care boom, right? It was like that. We can't have them doing it on their own, right? We have to come in there, because now we have to find something that's going to replace the money that we're losing on the relaxers, right?
Yes.
So now you've got all of these companies that are coming in with all of these products for natural hair care, but they still have those chemicals that you cannot pronounce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Their lab experiment is what they are.
And
Yeah.
yes, what's
And we
interesting
are
though, and I
we
was
are
wondering
using
that
the
this, you know,
experiment.
Go ahead, Sheila.
Go ahead, Sheila.
you know, hearing people say, well, you know, this is what works on my hair and this doesn't. I tried this and it was good for a while, and now I've moved on to something else. And we're still talking natural products. Is that people are finding out that just because something is on the shelf or somebody has made something, that doesn't necessarily mean that it works for me. But if I'm concerned about what I'm using, I have to go out and do the work and find that product that is right for me, or make my own.
Yep.
Right. Oh, that's it.
That's it, right?
It's the
But
key.
I think that's the key right there.
But what you make your own with, make sure it's pure.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
And I wanted to share this. You know, we've been talking mostly about us as women. I have a statistic for the men.
Uh-oh.
And this is from a Dr. Travison. It says, we live in a toxic world, and this toxicity affects androgen levels at an epidemic level, leading to chemical castration of the modern society. In 1988, men who were 50 years old had higher serum testosterone concentrations than those compared to the men in 1996 of the same age.
Wow. Wow.
Chemical castration.
That's wow.
So let's go back to the conversation. Hormone disruptors.
Yes.
That's what this is about. Chemicals can be hormone disruptors. You might smell good with your little body wash and stuff, but you're causing something else to be of concern.
I think you should look into this deeper, Netta, because this might be a link to autism. Like, it just sounds like if both parents are chemically messing with their bodies and producing children, it has to be affecting them in some way.
In some way.
The numbers are growing higher and higher as the years go by, and more chemicals are being used.
Yep.
Everything has chemicals in it. And back in the day, like you said, would you say in 1997 the numbers were lower?
1988.
1988. And see
how
how
compared to 96.
Right. See how drastic that is, though? So imagine in 2023 how much. Wow, that's just mind blowing. I'm thinking like you may want to reach out to somebody and add that. Maybe they can add that study when it comes to autism, because that struck me.
It's everything's increasing. Cancer levels, you know, diabetes, high blood pressure, and it's a variety of cancers. You know, it's not just, you know, you hear a specific type. No, everything's on the rise now, and so just go back to the garden.
That's it. That's it.
If you pick up a food in the grocery store that doesn't require a label, you're probably better off.
Right.
Okay.
And
But I
let's
think
talk about that a little bit too, as far as organic
yeah,
supermarkets, because they really lying about organic in the supermarket. So many people are going
exactly.
to like farmers markets and growing their own food now because
Mhm.
really they just stick a sticker on and say, oh, this is organic cucumbers. And I'm nervous about that because I'm paying extra and I've been seeing, different farmers and people putting videos up saying that just because they put an organic sticker on it doesn't mean it's organic when they're not using the right soil. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So how do we even get past that?
And I actually had a nutritionist, right? When, and she was like, she would tell me, about organic, but she was like, you don't need to buy organic bananas because bananas have the skin on it.
But
Right.
look at the clean 15 and the dirty dozen.
Exactly. Right. And that's it. Like she was actually like, to what Netta was saying, right? Shop the perimeter of the store, right? Which is where you find like the fruits and the vegetables
Right.
and all of that, right? And as opposed to, all of the canned goods and the products, she had me get one of those one of these little things that you could put olive oil in.
Right.
So that I don't use the pan, I don't have to use the spray. I can use that. It's like a pump, and I spray. I
Right.
use the olive oil, right? And so it really got me thinking about, right, not only what I was putting in my body, but then I started thinking about, okay, what am I putting on my body? Especially
Right.
because I have very sensitive skin,
Right.
right? And so like I love like body butters and stuff, but one of my girlfriends, when she makes it, I know she's using like natural stuff. Like her stuff, when it ships, when you get it, if it sit outside a little too long, it's melted.
Right.
It's not held together.
Staying on the box, you're like, oh no.
I gotta like stick it in the refrigerator so it get hard again, right? And so I'm like, I'm confident for the most part that she's using natural products to make her body butters, right? As opposed to others that I buy when they come and they're nice and rock hard, solid, and
Been
all
sitting
of that,
in the
right?
sun.
Exactly. Which you then they put something in there to hold it together.
Yes, like the cheese that don't melt. The cheese.
Oh my goodness,
Let's talk about that. The vegan cheese, right?
Charles said fruits and vegetables with seeds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about the vegan cheese. We're not gonna name brand names, but let's talk about the vegan cheese that we're eating because it's supposed to be healthier for us, but it doesn't melt.
Right.
Well, it's processed.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
So it's processed. I mean,
it's processed. Think about
what's the sense of being a vegan if you're eating processed food?
That's the
$1
question.
All of those, beyond this and beyond that, and morning this and morning, it's all processed. At the end of the day, it's all processed.
You might as well just eat some meat.
I wanted to go back to your vegetable and fruit question in organic ways.
Yes.
So I want to tell you the code on the label so you know what you're getting.
Hold on, let me put this in my phone. Okay, I'm ready.
So it says any 4-digit code lets you know it's conventional, meaning that it states here it has been grown with pesticides and chemicals in depleted soil. That's the 4-digit.
So 4-digit means that it's not
it's conventional, right?
It's been shot up with something.
Exactly, the soil and all of that. 5-digit code starting with an 8 is GMO.
God darn it! I'm sorry.
It says it has been grown with pesticides already built in and has been modified.
Oh no.
There's hope, y'all. The 5-digit code that begins with 9 is organic.
Okay.
So when you go to the store, this has happened to me. The sign says organic bell peppers.
Right.
Pick it up and look. That
What did you
sticker
do?
is not beginning with a 9.
Right.
Put that.
And then what if they put a 9 on there and they know it's not organic?
Well, you know, at that point, I'm praying and believing God is going to protect me
yes.
from anything else. But because I can only do what I can do, right? I'm going to do my part. I'm going into that. And, you can kind of tell when a store is shady.
Yes.
Yep.
I don't go to shady stores.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And if we can go to farmers markets.
And I will say I take much more time. It takes me much longer. And I hate going to the supermarket. If I was have all the money in the world, I would have somebody else shop for me. But when I go, it takes me so much longer because I spend so much time looking at the labels, reading the labels, putting stuff back. I know the people be like, what this girl doing?
Yeah. I do that before I go.
But so tell us how you do that.
Or you research to see, all right, is this a good brand? Because you know what you're looking for.
Right.
So that just chops down the time. And also most of my stuff is on the periphery. I'm not getting a whole lot of packaged stuff.
Right.
And the other thing is, like if you do buy, because organics aren't pumped up, so they're not going to last you as long in terms of being in the fridge. There are certain things you can do, like avocados, put them in water in the refrigerator. They'll last for weeks. If you have
avocado, put it in a bowl of water.
Bowl of water, and it'll last longer. What? And so your
that's before you cut it.
Yes, just whole. Just sit it in water. And then your spinach greens and things like that, you can either put them in a glass container, take them out of the plastic if you choose to. But the other thing I like to do, especially if I know I'm going to be making smoothies and so forth, put it in the freezer.
Yeah, I freeze my spinach
before it goes bad. I mean, after you see a couple days and it's starting to look a little suspicious, or a little wrinkly, throw it in the freezer.
Yes.
Don't let your money go to waste.
Yes, I gotta start doing that.
I put my spinach in because I do smoothies, right? So I put my spinach in the freezer.
Okay, that's a good idea. I'm always
in vegetables. Yeah, so do I. And I just started doing this recently, like with the lemons, because I'd buy the lemons and they go bad, but now putting them in water, in a container filled with water that's sealed up, water all the way to the top, and refrigerate them, and they last.
Really?
Wow.
Yep. And you can put a little piece of cheesecloth inside, like if you buy your greens and you're not using them right away, you can put a little bit of cheesecloth on top because it's going to absorb the moisture, which is what's making it go bad faster.
Right. Wow.
Give me some cheese. All right. Well, ladies, this topic, I'm telling you, 2 weeks in a row, it's so
good.
But it's so good, right? Because it's such helpful information, right? It's stuff that we need to know so that we can take care of ourselves, right? I mean, that's what, this year, I mean, life in general. I mean, my aunt is going to be 95 next month.
Wow.
Right?
Beautiful.
And so, and I watch her, like how she eats, right? And, but it really is important because I want to eat, like she still bowls, if you ask her to do anything, it cannot be when it's bowling time, right? Like her schedule, her life, like it'd be like we do it. Nope, I got a bowl. Okay, cool, right? Like she's 95, still bowling the league. Like the other day, I went to New York. I surprised her, and my cousin was like, "Oh, she's bowling." Right. And then she was like, yeah, we won 5 out of 7 games. It wasn't really good. I was like, what's your average? My average is 112. It's not good. I'm like
for 9
man.
Right? But it's also, how you take care of yourself, right? Yes. What you put in your body, what you put on your body, getting enough sleep, like we talked about last week, right? meditating, taking time to pray, or however you start your day in quietness, right? Not just jumping up and running out the house, all of that stuff. It really is about being holistic, right? Like mind, body, and soul. You have to take care of all of those components of your body.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies, you want to go around and give your final thoughts?
Yes, I will say, please note this program has nothing to do with medical advice. It has nothing, we're not your professionals in terms of your health care. We are simply providing you with information so that you can make the best decision for you along with your healthcare provider. But choose wisely. What you do today impacts your tomorrows, and it impacts those connected to you. We will say we will die for our kids. Live for your kids by making better choices.
Yeah. A resounding theme that we have when we have our conversations is about things being a process, right? And taking baby steps. So we're not saying that you have to run out, you have to throw out all of your plastics, throw out all of your cleaning products and your body and bath products and hair care products. Start with something, baby steps. Start with something, right? Work with that for a while and realize it. Again, it's a process, right? All of these things that we have on our bodies and in our bodies, it didn't take one application for them to absorb our skin into our skin, right? So it's not going to take one day of trying an all natural, a truly all natural product for it to start coming out of your skin. So realizing that it's a process and it's going to be slow, but take it one step at a time and it'll get easier along the way.
Yes. My final thought would be use the information that you got. Please don't just sit here and listen. Use the information that you got. And like Netta said, we are not doctors and we are not trying to tell you not to take your medication that your doctor put you on. We're just saying be mindful that there are holistic alternatives to add to your regimen and to please ask your doctor, when you take your blood tests and all that, have the numbers changed as you changed your diet, as you change products on your skin. Ask your doctor, and your doctor may surprise you and say, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing that. But ask questions to your doctor, but try to take a holistic approach along with what you're doing. But be mindful all the time of what you're putting in and on your body. And it only takes a few seconds to read the label.
And I'm just going to reiterate what both you and Netta and Sheila all said. One is we're sharing our experiences with you, right? What we've learned from the changes that we've made, and all of those changes have been gradual, right? They're gradual, they're day by day. We slip up, we're not perfect, but to the point that I think Trey said it, Netta said it, Sheila said it, right? You have to start somewhere, right? And what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again. So if you want to change something in your life, you have to start somewhere and you have to make one change at a time. And eventually it becomes a habit, right?
A good habit.
Exactly. A good habit, not a bad habit, a good habit, right? And so that's my thing, right? Take care of yourself by making the effort to change something that's not working for you. Ask yourself, is this working for me?
Mm-hmm.
Am I getting the result that I want to get? And if you're not getting the result that you want to get, then you need to figure out how you change it and do something differently. All right. And so that's our time. We are so grateful that you tuned in tonight on the Women to Women show on the New You Nation Network. If you have not subscribed to the network, you need to subscribe to the network. There's a lot of rich content, positive content on this network, right? And so we need you to subscribe. Come back next Monday. Join us again where we'll have another really rich conversation. And we thank you for tuning in. And we hope that we've shared something tonight that has helped you. And as our guests would say, truth plus transparency
equals
equals
Healing.
healing.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Good
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining.